Hello and welcome to Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am Evan Deal with eXp Realty, and today we are going to be diving into yet another of the amazing suburbs that surround the Circle City. Today, we're going up to the northwest and taking a look at Brownsburg. But before we do that, be sure, if you like this video, if you like Indianapolis, hit the like button. It's the nice thing to do. Hit the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications so that you are kept in the loop on everything that's happening in the Circle City, here in the 317. Get the latest on all the different neighborhoods, cities, suburbs, you name it. We're here for it. Now with that, let's dive into the video. Let's dive into pro number one of what makes Brownsburg so amazing, and that is affordability relative to the other options nearby. So if you're familiar with the area, you may think, what, Brownsburg affordable? Yes, and let me explain why. Brownsburg has lots of really premium lots available. There's places to build new houses as well as established communities as well. There's a great real estate market in Brownsburg. And while the median home price is around $368,000, it's going to be higher than what you see in Marion County, right next door in Indianapolis proper. Brownsburg's up in the northwest. It's sort of the north of the west side of Indianapolis. But relative to other nearby suburbs, like in the north side of Indianapolis, it's going to be a lot cheaper houses there relative to the cost of what you might get in Zionsville, right next door. So there is that affordability component in Brownsburg relative to the other options. And there's plenty of a variety of different types of places to live within Brownsburg as well. Another great pro of Brownsburg is the very highly ranked schools. Brownsburg are always among the top ranked schools in the entire state of Indiana, and definitely within the Indianapolis area within that. And so you see typically within the top 5, top 10 for the whole school system and Brownsburg High School. So very, very well-regarded school system, and definitely a pro of living here, as we've looked at in some of the other North Indianapolis and North Indianapolis adjacent areas. Another great pro of living in Brownsburg are all the parks. You've heard me talk about this with other communities around Indianapolis, and it's true in Brownsburg, and more true in Brownsburg than is a lot of other places. It's a ton of green space, whether it's places like Arbuckle Acres or Stevens Park or Miller Park, or, of course, Eagle Creek, one of the premier reservoirs and parks around all of Indianapolis. Brownsburg has a ton of nature, so you can go kayaking, canoeing, hiking, whatever you like. It's perfect for nature lovers. Another great pro of living in Brownsburg is all the shopping and the community aspect. Now, I kind of combine these into one because there's a lot to do in Brownsburg. It's a fully fledged suburb outside of the city of Indianapolis. So you've got all sorts of shopping. You've got the Brownsburg Shopping Center. You've got all sorts of boutiques downtown in Brownsburg where you can really just have whatever kind of shopping experience you want, whether you want that more nuanced kind of small scale or you want the big box. Brownsburg's got both for you. It's got restaurants like Rush Off Main, Brewburger. It's got a really great growing local food cuisine and eatery in the Brownsburg area. So as we've discussed with some of the other different pockets of Indianapolis, you see Brownsburg developing over time its own culture identity within the landscape of Indianapolis, but definitely not lacking for things to do. Now let's dive into some of the cons. And so while I've talked about there are plenty of things to do in Brownsburg, there's different festivals, events, sports, you name it. It's not to the scale of other suburbs in Indianapolis. It's at a smaller scale. The population of Brownsburg being smaller than some of the places like Carmel, Fishers on the north side of Indianapolis. Brownsburg's a little bit further removed. And so while there's not a lack of different options for things to do, all of it comes with a little bit less of variety and a smaller scale than you'll see in other suburbs. And con number two, while there are things to do in Brownsburg, I mentioned it's at a smaller scale. You're not going to see as much a variety as you'll see in other areas. I mentioned there's lots of nature in Brownsburg. Tons of different options on that front. If you're looking for different types of entertainment, you're going to be a little bit harder pressed in Brownsburg. There's still options, still different cultural events throughout the city, but it's not quite as varied as what you're going to see in like the art and design districts in Carmel, or the massive sports complexes in like Grand Park in Westfield or up in Fishers. Brownsburg is not developed that same way. So there's a little bit less variety in terms of the things you can do, but there is still things to do. Con number 3 is a common theme in some of the Indianapolis suburbs, and it's suburban sprawl. So with new builds comes sprawl, and Brownsburg is not immune to this. Now, while a lot of these houses can be nice and they're very, very functional and efficient, they kind of are very similar. Many of the communities that are built from new builders, where they're designed to be more of a big box home, with siding, with sort of a different veneer on the front, whether it's stone or brick. And these houses are often very nice and very large, but they can feel kind of samey from community to community. There are other options in Brownsburg, and there are land options in Brownsburg as well. But some of the new build communities, you get sort of that urban suburban sprawl type of feel, as you would in other places around Indianapolis, like in Franklin Township, and you get a little bit in places like Fishers as well. Now let's look at the reverse of those new builds, and at con number 4, it's the hidden maintenance costs of older homes. So some of the older homes in Brownsburg, you may be looking at additional costs associated with the upkeep of those homes or of modernizing them if you purchase those homes. So this is going to be true in different communities across Indianapolis, but Brownsburg is no exception. So, you have the option of building a newer home, but a lot of the older homes, you may want to have some sort of refurbishment, and just bake that into your budget. If this is an area you're considering, depending on the home, you may want to consider looking at the mechanicals and the basis of the home to make sure it's going to fit exactly what you're looking for in your lifestyle. Those are the pros and the cons of living in Brownsburg, Indiana. On the whole, it's a very nice area to live. There's tons of nature. It's the suburb up in the northwest part of Indianapolis. Kind of part of the west side with Avon and Plainfield, and not too far away from sort of the north side with Zionsville. But it's got Eagle Creek sort of as its backyard, and just a ton of nature all around. Plenty to do, and a really nice place to live. That's more affordable than some other places. It is more expensive than other areas on the west side, but definitely more affordable than some of what you'll see in the north side. And it's really, on the whole, a wonderful place to live. So if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like. Let us know. Let us know in the comments, and hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so that you are staying in the loop on everything that's happening in and around Indianapolis. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Evan Deal. This is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.